Warning. This show contains adult political themes and language. Liberals and little children should cover their ears.
Welcome to Liberty Never Sleeps, where negativity never sounded so good. Now here's your host, Thomas Purcell.
It's that good. And as I said, the raccoon, Rocket Raccoon, steals the show.
Does he?
Absolutely steals the show. Especially if you got pets or you're an animal lover,
right.
you're gonna love, a belligerent arsonist thief raccoon. He's about as belligerent as I am.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. That's why I like him. I see a lot of myself in this raccoon.
Oh, okay.
Really belligerent. Anyway, and as we anticipated, or as I anticipated, I had another incident at the movie theater.
No.
This one took the cake.
Well, worse than the other one?
Worse than the other one.
Worse than a lady knitting?
Yeah, because it was a double incident.
Uh-oh.
That drove me up the wall. Now, the first part of the incident, my significant other, thinks that I'm overreacting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. I've got a big personal bubble. That's a big issue for me.
Right.
Typically, when we go to the movies, I buy the tickets. I give Annie her ticket. She goes in, gets 2 seats for us. Well, I get whatever I'm going to get at the movie counter, the candy counter. Now, This time, I was really upset because I left my souvenir cup at home.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had to spend a little? Okay.
I had to pay full jolt. Nah, I don't mind. I mean, it's only a couple bucks, and they got to make their money. It's an irritant that I spent extra money, a couple of movies ago to get this cup that it could be refilled for only $1.
And then you forgot it.
And then I forgot it. And I never forget it. So I was already had my teeth on edge. So I went over, got my drink, iced tea. The great thing about, and I'll give a plug to Harkins here. Harkins is one of the few movie theaters that sells iced tea that's non-sweetened. Because everywhere else you go, they sell that sugary crap that they call iced tea. They don't. They sell brewed iced tea. And it's great. And it's really good. It doesn't taste like dishwater or something like that.
Dishwater.
You go in these restaurants and they order a plain iced tea and you get the glass of dishwater. Yeah. Anyway, so I get it. Sit down. Now, as I'm walking in, there are 2 people in the movie theater. Annie and another guy.
Mm-hmm.
Guess where the guy's sitting? 2 seats from Annie. 1, 2. Right?
Well, now, did Annie sit next to him?
No, Annie always the first one in because we're always the first in line.
Gotcha.
Annie sits down, and the guy came in. Now, she told me what happened before I got there. He said to her, is the seat next to her taken? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, yes. He was on her right. And he goes, is this seat taken? She goes, yes, I'm saving it for, my husband. He's out. He goes, okay. And he goes 2 seats down. So there's Annie, 1, 2, empty, and then him. I walk in, and I go, son of a gun. Well, it didn't bother me, so I sit down on the far side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, leaving 2 spaces between the guy and Annie. I sit down. You know what the guy does?
He moves over.
He moves over closer to Annie. And I'm like, what the hell?
Well, it's because it must be he wants to be at a certain spot.
That's exactly what she said, that he wanted to be closer to the center. Right. But for Christ's sake, the damn movie theater is, it's a 30-story, it's empty, and there's a 30-story building movie screen in front of us, right? Mm-hmm. You're telling me that him moving over 1 seat is going to make a difference in his viewing experience?
Right.
And if it does, why doesn't he move over 1 seat but go back an aisle?
Yeah.
So you're not sitting on top of it.
Yeah, that's just one of those strange things people have.
Exactly. Now, it's a busy movie because it's opening Guardians of the Galaxy. So I guess he figured, all the seats are going to fill anyway. But still, you're the only one in the movie theater, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, okay. I would be like Annie.
I almost said to the guy. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I would just say.
I almost said that.
I would say, let's move. Let's go someplace else.
Let's go. She likes to sit in this spot because it's on the rail.
I got you. Understood. What I'm saying is that would bother me to the point where I would move.
So I'm not crazy.
No, and I would make sure that he knew I was moving because of him.
Right. I mean, so I'm not crazy.
No.
This is not me. I want to make sure that I've asked 2 people.
No.
Okay. All right. I got a personal love. Now that was the small one.
Oh,
I
there's
thought
more.
I thought that was the.
Oh,
I
there's
thought
more.
that would be. Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
thought that would be the big incident.
All right.
But I held my tongue and I said, okay. I sat down. Blah blah blah. Now, the movie theater starts to fill in. Sure enough, every person that comes and sits down is in that front row. At one point, everybody in the movie theater was in the front row with us.
Oh, no kidding.
I kid you not. I do
everybody
not
wants the rail. Everybody wants the rail.
do not exaggerate. Right.
Gotcha.
Everyone wants the rail. That I understand, so I live with it. I've lived with that since I went to the movie because Annie likes to sit on the rail. I did. I always sat on the aisle. But she likes the rail, so I sat on the rail. So I live with it.
Belinda likes the rail too.
Okay.
She likes to put her feet up.
I live with it. Lady comes in with, I don't know, it seemed like 1 million kids. It was 4 kids, right? Noisy as hell. Saying to everybody, "How you doing, Bob? Hey, Fred." It's like this is a big thing for her. And she was about, I don't know, a good 300 pounds.
Oh no.
You know, really heavy. Sits right next to me. I mean, I got to share an arm with this woman.
Oh, shit.
And I'm putting my arm down, and I can feel her fat rolls.
Oh.
Over the arm, and I'm like,
oh.
You know, I'm like, Now, after she sits down, all the kids are, yeah, you know, that kind of thing. She stands up, and she goes, I got to go to the candy aisle. And she turns to me and goes, "Can you watch them?" and starts to leave. Watch the kids, right?
Wow, didn't even give you a chance to answer, huh?
No, because she knew what was coming. If I was about to say, hell no. But see, what happens is she saw us sitting there and thought we're a safe couple. We'll watch the kids, right?
Right.
So I said, I didn't acknowledge. I just go, yeah, I went like this, my hand, whatever. They're not going anywhere.
Right.
You know, they had that kind of thing going on, so they were perfectly harmless. She goes out to the bathroom, I guess, or the candy aisle, or something like that, whatever. I think it was the candy aisle.
How long was she gone?
She was gone enough time to do something which I suspected. She comes back. She comes back with like a hippo-sized popcorn. Hippo-sized popcorn. They've got small, medium, large, family,
and trough.
And hippo.
And popcorn trough.
And hippo, right. She got the hippo. And she brought back popcorn for the kids. They weren't going to share.
Oh, that's funny.
They weren't going to share that big old Mondo thing with the kids. They got little bitty popcorn. She goes, "Here you go. You know, bring back one of them boxes."
Right.
You know, the tray. And she sits back down next to me, and guess what? She smells like she got high. She had the reefer smell on her like you wouldn't believe.
I got popcorn.
You went out, had me watch her kids while she went and got high. And I don't know if she went in the bathroom or out to her car or whatever. But she just had to get high for the movie. She couldn't get high at home because she wanted to make sure the high was still on when the movie came on, right?
Right.
She got high with her kids with a stranger. Great. Now, there are some people that would have called a cop or something like that. But really, I don't do that. You know, I don't say anything to management. I don't call a cop. I just feel bad for the kids that their mom has got to get high to enjoy a movie. That's probably why, you know, she was acting all, hey, everybody, because she was probably a little bit buzzed already. And then she had to get a fresh hit out in the parking lot or in the bathroom or whatever. But she sits down next to me, and the smell comes over me. You know how a smell hits you?
Oh, yeah.
And you start to get sick from the smell?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Yeah. Because it was that smell mixed with cheap perfume and that buttery popcorn smell kind of just wash over me. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get sick. And Annie nudges me like, you know, what are you getting? I said, hey, look, you're not sitting here. I'll tell you about this later. I don't want to say anything in front of the lady because this is the kind of person that hears everything, you know? So she's plowing down the hippo-sized popcorn, and it sounds like that.
Jeez.
It sounds like a wood chipper next to me. I kid you not. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get through this movie? It's just plowing down, boom, and she's got a Coke, so you can hear that going down too. It sounds, it sounds like one of them oil wells. Vroom, vroom,
Jeez.
vroom.
What time did you go?
This was at a 9 a.m. show.
Well, there you go. That's the problem. You don't go
It was
to
a 9 a.m. show. And I said, man, when this woman starts laughing in the movie, it's going to be bad. But I got to tell you, once the movie started, I was so entertained that everything that was going on to my left went away. It was that good a movie. That's how I know it was so good a movie, because it was so ridiculous, the situation.
So the show was so good it drowned out the hippo trough sound next to you.
And it went on and on. There were a couple points, lulls in the movie, where I heard that wood chipper going, chunka, 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 I'm not kidding, Tom. It sounded like that.
Tom, change it up. Don't go to the early one, because that's when the kids are there. Go in the early afternoon one.
No, but when we come out of the movie theater, we usually always go to the first or second show. When we come out of the movie theater, these movie theaters are packed. Lines of people waiting on. So we don't want to go in, be any part of that. When we go to the movie, because we're going to the first show, there's nobody there.
Okay.
We don't wait on any lines.
Initially there's nobody there.
Initially, there's nobody there. Yeah. I mean, really, we're always the first ones in. We get a couple tickets. We don't even wait for the box office to open. We buy from the machines. They have automated machines at the theater, which is great.
Right. Yeah, a lot of them
credit
do.
Card.
Yeah.
Right. You put your credit. Meanwhile, all the idiots stand in line waiting for the teller. I just go right to nobody ever uses them either. I go up to them, pop two of them out, and I'm first in line.
Right.
And it's a joy. But the thing is, it does seem to attract a certain element. It attracts moms with kids, or really
crazy old cat ladies,
crazy people who have to sit on my personal bubble.
Right.
But the movie was great, and I have to tell you, I go to this theater. I don't want to say which theater it is because I don't want people knowing. But I go to this theater.
You want people knowing when they're showing up specifically to.
Yeah, there he is. Let's mess with him. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I go to this theater brand, this chain, because it's so good. I wish I gave them a plug at the beginning. It really is a good chain. They do a wonderful job keeping the theater clean, organized. The system that they have for the tickets, they always open the gates on time. They're not one of those theaters that makes you stand out in the heat while they wait for them. No, they get you right in there, and they're really well organized. That's why I go to them. That's why to this day, when I go to the movies, I look at this theater where I'm going to go, or one of their sister theaters. I move it around. Sometimes I go to this one or go to that one. But it was a fabulous movie, other than the people in it.
Yeah,
but
it's always the people.
But it seems like that front row. I've had an incident now, a couple times in a row, where I had weird people. But this is the first time I've ever had someone get high next to me, or come back from the break.
Reeking of the reefer.
That is really rude. It really is. You know how when somebody's been cigarette smoking, and they go outside to smoke, but they come back in and the waft.
That's it.
Hits you. It was like this, only with the reefer smell.
Yeah.
And it was so disgusting that early in the morning with the buttered popcorn and with whatever body spray she uses to hose that thing down.
Yeah, to hide that sweat.
She's one of those people like, the smoker who will take breath mints.
Yeah.
All they do is smell like mint flavored smokes.
Yes.
That's what it smelled like. It was just a god-awful smell. But I enjoyed the movie, and I would encourage it.
Sounds like you had a hell of a time, Tom.
I always do.